Hello guys, Coach Steve here for one more basketball academy. So I'm going to make a quick video instead of writing a blog. So today's topic, we're going to talk about how to become a better basketball player. This is a wide topic, so I'll narrow it down to the discussion I had with you guys on the Facebook group the other day. Okay, I said, everyone talks about jumping higher, getting better handles, and no one asks, Coach, how can I play smarter? How can I develop my killer instincts, etc., etc. So I said that, and then Edward asked me, how can I play smarter? Then Alex asked me how to keep pushing through fatigue. Then Derek asked me how to become a better leader. And then I think a couple of you guys, then Isaiah told me some people do ask those type of questions, but they never get a response. And that's true, Isaiah. I've seen a few of these questions, but the problem is it's very difficult with one short blog or one short video or one short answer on Facebook to cover the subject. Okay, it's pretty difficult. So, however, I tried today to put my thoughts together, and I'm going to give you what I think are the four most important traits that a basketball player should have or should develop and improve. Okay, so there are four things that you need to do and you need to work on constantly to get better at. Okay, so the first thing is instinct. Second thing, basketball IQ. The third thing is the skills. And then the last thing to me is athleticism. So you see, whenever you're online, a lot of people talk about athleticism, a lot of people talk about skills, and IQ and instinct, or IQ and psychology, they tend to be kept to the bottom of the pile. And the reason is it's very difficult to work on these things, and most of the people who are so-called coaches or so-called trainers, they don't have a clue really, because it takes one to be one. So it takes someone who played at a certain level to actually give you those kind of advice. You know, drills, tips, it's really easy to tell you have to dribble with two balls and do things like that. But the psychology of the game, if you didn't play at a high level, you don't really know. So we're going to dive in. We're going to start with the first thing, instinct. So instinct to me, and I didn't write a precise definition, but to me, instinct is everything you do without really thinking about it. So playing instinctively is really important, because if you take the time to think about something, chances are you will be slow on the court, because you have to think. You can play hard and think at the same time. That's part of the reason why, as trainers, we train players very hard going through game situations, so they get a lot of reps in. So whatever they learn goes from learning it, incorporating it, then creating a habit, and then becoming an instinct. Okay, so. But there are instincts that are not skills related. For instance, competitiveness. Competitiveness is not something that a trainer or coach can give you. We can motivate you. We can tell you about books. We can do a lot of different things, maybe psychological stuff. But really, that one key ingredient to becoming a great basketball player, or a great soccer player, or a great athlete, or a great businessman, or whatever else, is competitiveness. So I'm not sure, but I think it partly comes from insecurity. Okay, so if you notice, guys who are really great at something, when they were young, they were probably bad at it, or people didn't like them, or didn't love them, or etc., etc. So they worked extremely hard because they wanted to avoid the pain or of feeling embarrassed or the pain of failure. See, Michael Jordan is the prime example of that. Like, I think in his junior high, in a junior in high school, he got cut from the team, or he didn't make the cut. So he worked extremely hard because that was probably a really painful moment for him. So he worked extremely hard, and then he was just trying to destroy everyone and make them feel the pain he felt. So competitiveness, I think, I'm not sure, you probably have to read a book about it, but I think that it comes from some sense of insecurity. You want to be the best. You want people to love you. You want to be the best. So our society is based on that. You know, when you see a commercial, they try to scare you. You know, when they want to sell you, I don't know, gum or anything like that, they tell you, hey, if you don't buy the gum, your breath will stink, and then this girl will not like you. They partly using fear on you. So they're using insecurity. And competitiveness, there is some of that going on, okay? But to me, if you want to understand how to become a better competitor, to me, I always use an analogy, a hunting analogy. Okay, so say you are a lion and you are really hungry, and there is a deer or some kind of animal there that you can go get to eat. You're gonna compete, because if you don't get the deer, you starve. So every sport, to me, is similar to that. The only difference between team sport and individual sport is when you are playing team sport, you hunt together. Okay, and when you play an individual sport like tracks or boxing, it's one-on-one. Okay, so it's either you who are going to eat or the next person. And really, in the real life, because right now we have all these appliances and all this comfort, you know, we got houses and homes and electricity, and we tend to forget. But really, at the bottom of it was survival. You eat, you keep on living. You don't eat, you die. And so that was the first form of competition that we had. So our ancestors, they had to become very competitive. And that's why if you go in very tough places, say third world countries, or if you go to a project or a very bad neighborhood in the States or anywhere else in the world, people are extremely competitive because there aren't that many gyms and things. There's probably one park. And if you want to play in the park, there's like maybe 20, 30, 40 kids that want to play. So if you're not one of the best, you're not playing. That's why the youngest kids in the family, they're usually the best kids at whatever sport, because they have to compete against their older brothers who do not give them any cut. You know, you have a smaller brother, you beat his ass every day. So he grows up competing for attention. He grows up competing for everything that he has. Okay, so competitiveness, that's what it really is. It's really you or the other guy. How to get better at it, I'm not really sure. Sometimes in practice, I use different motivation techniques. Sometimes I use fear, like the loser is going to run a lot of suicides. Or maybe I kick the loser out of the practice. I mean, I don't know. I'll find a way so that the person doesn't want to lose. But I'm not really sure. I'm not a psychologist. I think that some of it is you have it or you don't. But I think you can still work on it. So maybe later I'll do more research and I'll try to find a way to help you out with your competitiveness. But me, when I was a kid, actually, I think that we all have it. I think we all have competitiveness because kids don't like to lose games. They get mad when they lose. But I think society bits it in you like, hey, you know what? As long as you played, you know, don't be a jerk. Play, participate, and be cool with everyone. So some people accept it and some people refuse it. I was one of those who just refuse it. I play, I want to win. If I lose, I'll just keep calling you until you want to play again. I practice and I try to beat you again. And I used to cry when I lost. I just hate losing. That's it. So I don't know. Fearlessness. Fearlessness is really big. Fearlessness is when you watch Steph Curry play, or some of these guys, they just play with no fear whatsoever. And it's very difficult because our society is fear-driven, They tell you, hey, there's terrorists, red level of threat, and then everybody's scared. Or they tell you, if you don't pay your rent, we're going to kick you out. Or they tell you, if you don't study hard, you won't have a good job, your life will be miserable, etc., etc. Our society is based on fear. So when I have a kid come to my program and I tell him to do something, or I just let him play and there's a choice that he has to make, he won't do it. He won't make the choice. He will look at me and ask me what to do. That's because of fear. They're scared to fail. And being scared is the worst thing ever. It's normal. Fear is part of our survival mechanism. But you can't let fear make decisions for you. Okay, so you are scared. Think about what you're scared and do what you have to do. Okay, so fearlessness is a great component of being a great player. I don't know any great player who was scared as a person or as a basketball player. That's just not possible. So when you have the ball and you're wide open and you're scared to shoot because you just missed 2 shots, you can't be a great player. If you have the ball and you're supposed to go left and you won't go left because you're scared of turning the ball over because it's your left hand, then you can't be a good basketball player like that. Fear should not exist. That's why we train that much. We train really hard and we get all these reps so that we feel invincible. Because I'm going to make that 3. I just made 1,000 threes yesterday during my workout. I'm going to make that drive. I work on my drive every day, etc., etc. So fearlessness, also, I don't know if it's something we have. I think when you really compete and when your back is against the wall, so say you are going back to the analogy I told you before, say you're a lion and you're really hungry, and if you don't eat, you die. I think you don't care. I think you just do whatever you have to do to eat. Same thing if you were in some kind of third world country or in the hood somewhere. When your back is against the wall, you just develop that kind of inner strength. You just don't care anymore. Like a mother, like when a mother has a child and she feels someone is going to interfere with the child's security, she all of a sudden becomes the strongest person on earth. Okay, so you got to tap into that. You got to feel like you're back against the wall all the time, I guess. Intuition. Same thing with instinct. Intuition is great. Intuition is when it's part instinct and part basketball IQ. There's a gray zone there where you practice so much or you know your players or your teammates so much that you can do stuff without even thinking and it seems crazy to everybody else, but your intuition is right. That was a good pass, that was a good shot, etc. Intuition is partly instinct, like I said, and partly IQ. The way to develop it is to be a student of the game, to play all the time. So situations that you go through, you already went through them in practice or other games. So it comes with work and experience. So that covers the instinct part of it. Competitiveness, fearlessness, intuition. Now, let's go to the basketball IQ, or IQ in general, sorry. Because IQ in general, to me, there are 2 things you need to have as a basketball player. Number 1, basketball IQ, of course. You need to have an extremely good decision-making process. Not necessarily process, but you need to be good at making decisions on the go. To me, what's the difference between a level and another when you go up, say college, then the pros, then whatever the NBA, then whatever else. Whenever you move up, to me, what really changes is strength, yes, quickness, yes, but really what really changes is the speed of execution. What does that mean? Say you play, you're a 12-year-old, right? And you're a point guard and you have the ball, and then your teammate does a backdoor cut. You see it, but you're not sure, you think about it, and then you pass it, and it works, right? Why? Because the guy that guards you doesn't put pressure on the ball, because the kid that got backdoor cut is slow to recover, and there's no backside help. So it's really easy to make that pass. But then when you move up, let's say you're 14-year-old, the same pass, instead of having 2 seconds to think about it, you get maybe a second. And then the higher up you go in the basketball world, the harder or the quicker the decision has to be made. Which means when you play in the pros, you have the ball, the guy has a backdoor cut. If you don't throw the ball right there, it won't be open the next split second. So the basketball, the decision making has to be very quick, which means you get the ball. By the time you get it, you're supposed to know if you can shoot or if you got a fake and go or if you got a fake dribble pass. I mean, this is really what it comes down to. Okay? Shot selection. You know, there are guys who they get the ball and they didn't shoot the ball for like 3 times in a row. So they feel like that's their time to shoot the ball. So they just shoot it and it was a bad decision. There was no board coverage or they were contested. It was a bad shot. Okay? Or guy gets the ball, he just missed 2 or 3 shots. He's really supposed to take this shot because the ball movement was perfect. He had a great shot and we got board coverage. But because he feels bad about himself, he's not going to take the shot. Very bad decision. And this is just an offense. Defensively, there's also lots of decision making. So really, playing basketball is all about making decisions. When you're on the court, even off the court, there are lots of decisions that you got to make. Do I shoot? Do I pass? Do I sprint the floor? Do I come and help? All these are decisions. Now, you have to be great at making decisions. Same thing in life. It's all about decision making. Life, basketball, same thing. Okay, you're gonna make wrong decisions. Don't lose your head about it. Start over with a clean state in your mind and go to the next decisions. Okay. Now, there's the political IQ or political savviness, or you can also call it the locker room IQ. Okay. So when you're in the team, you're the new guy on the team. People don't really know you. You know, there's a lot of you gotta get a feel for who's the alpha male in the team, how to work with them, how to become the alpha male. I mean, the the video here is going to be too short for me to explain to you how it works. But basically, every group has some politics to it. You know, I heard a lot of players, you know, I didn't make it because of politics, or even at work. Well, I cannot really get this job because of politics. It's sad, but politics is a part of the game. Politics is a part of life. So making sure you're good with the right people is a part of the game as well. So don't get into a tough situation with your coach because he's the one who can make you play or keep you on the bench. So if you're not sure what he wants, make sure you get a good relationship with your coach. Ask him questions. After each practice, go see him and ask him what you can do to get better, or ask him to rate or to evaluate your practice, etc., etc. Stay cool with your teammates. Don't stay with the teammates that are detrimental to the teams. There's always a few teammates who talk bad about others, etc., etc. Don't be friends with these guys because that's going to be detrimental to your perception or to the perception that people have of you. So you don't want to do that. Same thing when you play a game. If the ref makes a mistake, say you go for a layup, there's a foul, he didn't call it. Yelling at the ref is the dumbest thing you can do. The reason is the ref can keep you in the game or get you out. If you yell, what he can do is he can wait another two or three plays and call another dumb foul on you, so you have to sit down because you'll be on foul trouble. You don't want to do that. So if a ref calls a foul on you, you go ask him what you could have done better not to foul. Or you can tell him that you respectfully disagree. You think you are at the right place. Or really, you just don't say anything. You raise your hand. Okay? Don't get in bad blood with the ref, because you know what? The same ref that you yell at all the time is going to be your ref for the next few games probably. So and he won't forget you, because refs are people, okay? And they have egos, etc., etc. And a lot of them secretly envy you. They wish they would be playing the game. Some of them can't because physically they can't play basketball. And some of them used to and they don't anymore. And they wish they would be playing. And so they are jealous. They don't really like you to get started. So if you talk shit to them, that'll be bad. So now let's move on to the skills factor. Okay. Well, skills obviously is important. To me, it's not as important as instinct and as IQ. We've seen some players who, without great basketball skills, became amazing players. Well, of course, they were great physically, but there are some guys who, like Tony Parker. Tony Parker is not the best shooter. He doesn't have the best footwork. He doesn't have the best handles, but he's been one of the best point guards in the NBA for the last decade. So it's not just about skills, but skills are important. So let's cover them really quickly. Shooting, to me, it all starts with shooting. The game is called basketball, so you have to put the ball in the basket. That's really it. If you're good at putting the ball in the basket, you'll be a great player. So shooting, it starts with shooting. You know why? Because if you can't shoot the ball, people won't really guard you. They'll give you plenty of space, and that space will prevent you from driving to the basket. So it makes it harder for you to get closer to make a shot. So if you can't shoot, you better be at least 7 feet tall, and we'll play you in the post. But if you're 6'3" or under, your shot got to be automatic, which means someone gives you a little bit of space, wait. Which means if you take 100 shots right now, you go to a gym with a gun or someone passing you the ball back, you take 100 game speed shots, you're supposed to make at least 80. At least, that's the very least. If you can make 80 out of 100 with no one guarding you, that means you won't make 20% in a real game when you're tired and there's defense and there's stress and there's pressure. So you gotta make shots. If you want to improve your shot, well, first, shooting is all about technique and confidence. So the technique part, you can go to the website, pointguardacademy.org, and I got quite a few drills that teach you how to have the right motion to shoot the ball. Okay, so let's move on. Footwork. Footwork is amazingly important. That's why I got a problem with AAU basketball. All these kids, they dribble, shoot, play a lot of games, but they don't have any footwork. Footwork means what? How to step through a screen. Say you're being guarded and you have to run into a stagger screen to get open for a shot. How to run to that screen. What foot has to go around the screen. How to square up. How to face up. How to use your pivot foot to create space. How to use your footwork to get people off guard for a layup. Do you use a one-step layup, two-step, Euro step layup, pro hop step, reverse layup? I mean, there's so many things with the ball. And without the ball, same thing. How to avoid a screen. When someone wants to set a screen for you, how to jump to the ball. There's a million things, really. I'm not going to cover everything right now, but footwork is amazing. To me, offensively, in terms of skills, if you have a good shot and if you have great footwork, you can be an amazing scorer without even being athletic, without even really being a great dribbler. Look, Michael Jordan is the best player to ever play the game. He was athletic, very athletic, but towards the end of his career, he wasn't the best athlete around. It was pretty good, but it was not the best around. But his shooting, mid-range shooting, was deadly. His three-point was decent. His footwork was amazing. I mean, talking about the almost every move. Like most of the moves that NBA players do today, they're from Mike. Okay, the pull-up jumper that was Jerry West, but the pull-up jump shot, the technique was perfect. The turnaround jump shot, amazing. The jab, sweep throughs, all that stuff. Michael Jordan was really, really, really fundamental player. So, and Kobe is the same way. So to me, spend time working on your shot, spend time working on your footwork. Positioning is key. How to understand, and it's part basketball IQ, but it's how to position yourself to be dangerous offensively without the ball, and how to position yourself also in defense. How to deny a pass, how to be in semi-denial, how to jump off of a screen, how to be in backside help. All this is positioning, and all this is key. A lot of players are very good, but they don't understand positioning, and they become liabilities to their team. So positioning, very important. Then there's the dribbling. Dribbling, well, you already know why it's important. I don't think it's as important as shooting and footwork because you're not even supposed to dribble that much, really. But you gotta have it. You gotta feel comfortable with the ball. So take a ball every day, dribble, dribble, dribble. Passing is key. I should have put passing a little bit higher on my list, but passing is fundamental. Like, what kind of pass? What kind of pass my teammates like? Does he like pass, lob pass, bounce passes, chest pass? Can you pass consistently in the pocket so that guys don't need to dip to shoot the ball? Can you throw a skip pass from one side to the court to another? Can you throw a baseball pass for someone who's far away in transition? Can you throw a pass as you dribbling, bounce pass to someone? Can you throw it behind the pass? And why do you throw it behind the back? Sorry. Lots of different passes, and you need to be, especially if you're on the 6'3" and you play the point guard of the shooting guard, you will need to become an excellent passer. Okay? So, last but not least, athleticism. That's the last chapter. So because the game has become sort of an entertainment now, college and the NBA, you need to be an athlete. Not just for that, it will help. If you have everything else, it will help. If you don't, if you master everything else, if you have great instinct, great IQ, and great skills, you will be a very good player without athleticism. But the thing is, it will help you because when you play against a great athlete, you will suffer if you don't have everything else. It'll help you rebound, it'll help you shoot the ball, it'll help you do everything that you already do well if you graduated from the other three factors. But you'll just do it stronger, faster, and better if you have athleticism. Okay? So what do I mean by athleticism? First, cardio, fitness, stamina, whatever you call it. Being able to run down and back the court and keep on going, sustaining basketball efforts. If you want to get good at that, what you have to do is work on basketball-specific cardio. How do you do this? You can, for every period of time that you sprint, you have to take the same amount of time to rest. Which means, say for instance, you run a suicide in 25 seconds, then you're going to rest for 25 seconds, and then you're going to run another suicide. Do that 10 times. And the reason why you do this is because in basketball, the amount of sprinting and the amount of rest is sensibly equal. So, you run hard for a few plays, then there's a timeout. Then, so it keeps being like that. So if you can sprint for a minute, rest for a minute, sprint for a minute, do this a few times, you will get in great basketball shape, great cardio. So the stop and turn. Stop and turn is very important. In basketball, you go to offense, you turn the ball over, you transition back to defense. Or you go to offense, you score, boom, sprint back. So you always stopping and going back the other way, okay? Or you cut, do your L, cut back again. It's always sprint, stop, sprint. It's never a curl. The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of guys, when they're tired or they lost their legs, instead of planting their feet and sprinting back the other way, they want to curl like that because it's harder to plant and go back. And this is a bad way to run. In basketball, you got to plant, go back. And that entails strength on your legs, okay? You need to be able to explode back on your legs. Okay, so stop and turn, very important. You need to be good at that. Then jumping. We all know what jumping does to your game. You can elevate for shots. That's great. You can improve your rebounding. Even though with positioning only, you can become a very good rebounder. If you can read the flight of the ball and beat guys to the spot, or if you can box out extremely well, you don't need to jump that high to get some rebounds. But jumping will help. Jumping will help. Block shots, even though I'm not a big believer in going to block shots, but you can contest and you can do a lot of different things if you can jump higher. And then last thing to me, in my opinion, is agility. Feet quickness, okay? That's of paramount importance. For defense, if you want to stay in front of someone, you got to have quick feet. Yes, you got to have IQ, You gotta have intuition. You gotta be able to guess where your guy is going to go. So you gotta have basketball IQ, but you also need to have quickness. Okay, if I play against someone that's 10 times quicker than me, it doesn't matter how smart I am. It's gonna end up breaking me down because it's just too fast. That's why we have positions. That's why Shaq was not guarding guards because he would get killed, and vice versa. That's why a guard is not going to guard Shaq in the post. Shaq is too big. So agility is very important. It allows you to, first of all, you run faster if you get quick feet. Also, you'll have lateral movement that'll be pretty quick, so you'll be a good defender. And offensively, it helps running through screens and changing direction quickly, etc., etc. So this is a video. It was rather long, about 30 minutes. If you have questions, first of all, if you think that I missed anything or I should have talked about something else, please leave a comment below and share the video. Make sure it's seen because I think it's going to help a lot of people. And next week, I'll do another video on another topic and we'll go from there. So talk to you soon. PointGuardAcademy.org.